Former conservative Republican Congressman out of Colorado's Tom Tancredo.
Thanks very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you. And I mean, I was here last week. It was great. Had a wonderful crowd and all that. But you know, I know there's a little wind here. This is wonderful. I mean, 110 last week. I saw a couple of people actually kind of go down right before and I thought, gee, are they passing out just in anticipation of my speech? But I doubt it. I think it had something to do with being 110 degrees here, and this is a lot nicer. Well, I hope that one of these years when I come back here to Arizona, and I come down here a lot, I hope I'm wandering through this park and I see another statue, a statue of an Arizona hero. And that statue is going to be of a guy by the name of Russell Pierce. Yeah. You know? That would be the greatest thing I think I could ever see out here. And you're not going to wait for him to keel over or anything. I want the statue right away, okay? Because he deserves it. Because what has happened here in Arizona has implications all over this country. We have been talking about this issue, fighting about this issue, debating about this issue, but nobody really did much about it. Even the nation itself wouldn't really focus on it until 1070 passed. And then all of a sudden, the world came alive, and you thought, you know, that and of course, a horrible incident helped focus attention. I was down here speaking in Sonoyta, Arizona. It was a Tea Party rally. That was on a Saturday. I was supposed to speak to a group of ranchers the next day. I do that all the time. Every time I come down, I talk to as many ranchers as I can get to talk to, because of course they're on the front line of this invasion. They know, they see it every single day. And so I listen to them, I talk to them. I went to my motel in Tucson that night, going to speak the next day to a group of ranchers. As I say, I got a telephone call. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Guy said, listen, Tom, one of the ranchers can't be there tomorrow. And I said, you're calling me at 1 o'clock in the morning to tell me that? I mean, and he says, well, it's because they just found his body. And that, of course, was Rob Krantz, who I'd known for 10 years. I'd known that family for 10 years. They've been ranching down there, that family, for 103 years. They found his body, and that was another act that galvanized. You know, Sheriff Joe talks about the crimes that are committed. Russell Pierce talks about the crimes committed. And for some reason, it just never grabbed hold of the people. When that happened down there, when Rob Krantz was killed, all of a sudden, a lot of people here started really paying attention, and it helped galvanize this state and then the nation. So I say to the Krantz family, I know it's a horrible thing to have to deal with this, but the possibility is some good can come out of even the most horrible of events. You know, it's amazing to me that we have now for so many years had to argue about a simple fact. Had to argue about the fact that people are coming into this country without our permission. It's against the law. It should be stopped. And yet we have never had the ability, we've never had the guts, we've never had enough people in Congress with the guts, or a president. And by the way, it didn't matter if it was a Republican Congress or a Republican president or a Democrat Congress or a Democrat president. This issue was never dealt with. It was always pushed aside. Everybody was looking for a way to get amnesty. Well, it was the only thing that stopped that amnesty was the people of the United States of America, who shut down the Senate. Shut down the telephone system at the Senate when McCain-Kennedy bills started to come up. You know, that was it. You did it. Nobody in Congress was going to do it. You guys did it, and God bless you for it. And we've got politicians now that all of the, you know, they see the polls, right? They're looking at 60%, 70% support for the Arizona bill. And all of a sudden, man, where were these people before? But today, everybody you talk to is, I'm for border security. I'm going to do something about that fence. Why isn't that fence built? Well, I'll tell you, one reason is because of one of the senators that you've got here that for years and years and years stopped every effort to do anything about immigration control. And now he's trying to sound like the immigration senator from Arizona. Well, he's not. He wasn't. And I hope everybody remembers that. I keep thinking maybe, I know Phoenix, Arizona is supposed to be, it's the kidnap capital of the United States now. I know that because of all the drug activity, all of the cartels. I keep thinking maybe John McCain was kidnapped. And the guy they've got running around here that sounds like him, looks like him, really isn't him. Because it's, I've never heard him say these things before. But now everybody's for border security. Well, the problem is the things you say on a campaign trail oftentimes change dramatically once you get into the elected office, especially when it's for a 6-year term. Yeah. Then everything can change. So you've got to look for politicians who really mean what they say, who by their actions in the past, by their history, have proven themselves that they do support the idea of border security, and they do support the idea of the rule of law. And as for this president, and him talking about this bill, will somebody put the damn bill on a teleprompter so he can read it? Apparently, that's the only thing he reads. So just put it up there, let him read it. I don't know that it'll sink in, and I don't know that it matters to him. Because you know what? He has a totally different view of what this country is all about. And it's not a view that I think any of us share. And it's certainly not the view of the Founding Fathers. He does not like that America. And he's going to do every single thing he can to change it into something and certainly I know most of you, do not want. So our efforts have to be at every single level. And another thing, this president, when he said what he said about a little kid having, it might be harassed going to an ice cream store here in Arizona. I'm telling you something, man, I almost came unglued. Because you see, I can tell him about a real story, a true story about a little kid at an ice cream store. This was in Aurora, Colorado. Michael Kudlis, 3-year-old kid, sitting there in the Baskin & Robbins store. Drunken, illegal alien driver comes across the street, crashes into the store, kills this little 3-year-old kid, kills 2 other adults there. This kid, this guy, this person who did that had been arrested in and around the Denver area 19 times for drugs, for driving without a license, for driving under the influence, you name it. 19 times, never turned over to ICE. I don't know that they would have done anything anyway, of course, but never turned over, allowed to get back in the car over and over again until he killed this little kid and 2 other people. That, Mr. President, that's a real story about a little kid in an ice cream store.